I just got one thing to say about Missouri weather. It is crazy. I thought I'd make a video explaining a little bit about the weather that we get here in Missouri Ozarks. I guess when people are looking for a place to move, one of the first questions that they ask is, well, what's the weather like? How much does it rain? How much does it snow? How humid is it? How hot does it get? How cold does it get? And when it comes to the Missouri Ozarks, down in the southern part of Missouri, it is ever changing. So I want to tell you a little bit about the weather down here. I know a lot more people are thinking about moving to this part of the country. It's starting to become more and more popular as other areas such as Tennessee gets outrageously expensive. So I live in the southeast, the southeast part of Missouri. I had to think there just for a minute. In what they call the St. Francis Mountain region area. Just a beautiful, beautiful part of the state. And then over in southwest Missouri, around Springfield and Branson, that area is just really, really growing. A lot of people are moving to that area. I know down around the Farmington area and Poplar Bluff area in southeast Missouri, it's been growing a little bit, not near as much as southwest Missouri. And then you go on down to northwest Arkansas, and that place is just exploding in growth. Has been for the last few years, and there are no signs of letting up. So anyway, yeah, the weather here, I'll try my best to explain a little bit about it. It's interesting once you start getting this latitude is kind of a transition zone between the heat and the cold. And of course that sets the stage for a lot of storms, a lot of wild weather. Now, we're not officially in the Tornado Alley area, but if you've been paying attention to recent tornado outbreaks the last few years, it seems like Tornado Alley has been expanding east. And last year, 2025, Missouri ranked right up the top for the most number of tornadoes. It was a pretty bad time, pretty scary time here at the homestead. I know had a tornado to hit. So I am looking south. So about 7 or 8 miles as the crow flies. Pretty devastating tornado hit a little community there. And it went from southwest to northeast. And then there were several other tornado outbreaks after that one, which was in March, middle of March of last year. We got a bunch of rain the other night, about 3 or 4 inches, a lot of flooding around. Got that in a short period of time, and my little creek, normally dry, so it's a wet weather creek. You can see it's got some water in it there. Turn back the other way. But this creek it was flowing good. Had a lot of water in it the other day. But, and then they're supposed to be calling for some storms overnight tonight with slight possibility of maybe a spin-up tornado. But this is considered, you know, a transition zone between the really hot air that tries to surge north and then the cold air coming down, or warm air surging from the south, cold air coming in from the north, and it sets up a pretty good battle zone from time to time. So, I'll start off with winter. What is winter like? For the area that I live in, down in southeast Missouri, I'm about an hour north of the Arkansas-Missouri state line. And so we average about 8 or 10 inches right here for the season. Now, I used to live about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours north of where I'm at now, little town of Sullivan, Missouri. And there, the average seasonal snowfall is almost double what it is where I'm at now. So it's about 18 or 20 inches for the season. So, yeah, I mean, it really starts to drop off. And then by the time you get down to Poplar Bluff, you're down to about 7 or 8 inches average. And then it really starts to drop off a lot more after that. Just kind of walking up here in the woods here, checking out my road, see how much washing out it did. And it did a bunch. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that created a mess. Spin around here, see if you can see that. Yeah, that's gonna take some work with the tractor, but been working on building another road to go around the side of this hill, which will go back up that way and kind of snake around the side of that hill where it's not so steep either. So I've been kind of working on that, getting some trees knocked down. But yeah, about 8 or 10 inches is the seasonal snowfall for this area. And we just about got all of that, if not all of it, in one snow back in the middle of January, where we got about 9 or 10 inches here at the house. And so, yeah, that was in the middle of January. Didn't get any snow at all during December. Maybe, I mean, just a few flakes here and there, but it didn't amount to anything. Didn't get any snow during February. Now here we are in the 1st of March, and it's been really warm. This winter season has been a roller coaster ride of temperatures. Again, we're so close to, you know, the warmer air wanting to come up. It has been very warm at times this winter. Then the latter half of January, it got cold. It stayed cold for about 2 to 3 weeks. It was very cold, and then just warmed right back up. And got another little cold shot there in the middle of February. And then once that was over, warmed right back up. And it's been warm really ever since. It's been above average, above normal for a lot of the end of February and here in beginning of March. So it's been a roller coaster ride this winter. Now, everybody has an opinion on their, what kind of weather they like. But I would venture to say that most people like warmer weather. That's why so many people are flocking to the southern states. Not just for the weather, but for other reasons as well. But yeah, people prefer warmer weather. It takes a hardy soul to live up in, Iowa and the Dakotas and up in places like that. And that's not for me. And, the winter weather here in Missouri, here in the Missouri Ozarks, may not be it may be too cold for some people. They may not like that. And I don't like the cold weather. I would rather be a little bit further south, but this is where my job is, and family, relatively close. So But overall, I mean, if you can put up with a little bit of cold weather here and there. Now, when I say cold weather, I don't mean anything like below zero temperatures like up north. Now, will it get to zero? Yes, it got to zero 2 mornings back in the middle of January, or pretty close to it, pretty close to zero. May not have been all the way to zero. Same thing happened last winter too. Got down to zero. That was at night, overnight temperature. So it got down to zero a couple of times. And then, now last winter, we got a bunch of snow. I got a 7-inch snow in January, 8-inch snow in February. And, at the beginning of January last year, 2025, got a major ice storm. And, yeah, it knocked out my power a couple of days. It was pretty bad. But that was an above average year for snowfall. But when it gets cold, I mean, it doesn't stay cold. If you can put up with it for, you know, a few weeks out of the winter. I mean, I'm talking about the really core cold. I mean, it gets above 40 degrees quite frequently in the winter here in the Missouri Ozarks. Get those surges of warm air coming up, hit 60 degrees. 50s are kind of common in the winter. And then you get another shot of cold air. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, it's not too bad. Again, I don't like the cold at all. But like I say, if you can put up with it for a little time, and, it's nice to get 1 or 2 snows, you know, during the winter season. And then a few days, it's gone. I know when it snowed back in January, that about 10-inch snow, it was cold for so long that the snow was on the ground for a good month. So it took a while to melt it all. And of course, spring, beautiful, beautiful time of the year. But here's the big but. It is storm season. And I touched on that just a moment ago with the tornadoes. But you can count on severe weather during the spring. And of course, some years are more active than others, like last spring. It's just really bad. I hope and pray it doesn't get like that again. We don't have the same, you know, same situation, same outbreaks we did last spring. But we're going to get storms. There's just no doubt about it during the spring. And it can flood. It floods quite frequently. And then, we can have some beautiful, beautiful spring weather though. And there's a good bit of wind too that comes along with that during this transition from winter into summer. And then, we have some beautiful weather, you know, April, May, even sometimes into June. But June is when you really start to notice summer starting to take over. And, it can get brutally hot and humid. Now, not humid like Louisiana or down along the coast, you know, down in Houston, Texas or somewhere like that, or Florida, Georgia humid, but it's still bad. It is just, you can go outside and just be wringing wet and not even be doing anything. But where I live, just far enough north that every now and then you'll get a cool front to come through in the summer, and it'll knock the temperature back down and knock the humidity down. That's always pleasant. Does it ever get 100 degrees? Yeah. Now here in the Missouri Ozarks, it is a little bit hard to get 100 degrees. You have to go a little bit lower in elevation, like towards the boot heel, but once you start getting up, around 800 foot, 900 foot, 1,000 foot elevation. And my house is about around 700 and something feet, I think. Around 700 feet elevation. You don't have to go far to get higher elevation. I'm not too far from Missouri's highest point, which is 1,700, lower 1,700 feet in elevation. And I'm basically the same latitude, or pretty close to the Springfield over in southwest Missouri, about the same latitude, pretty close. And Springfield is considerably higher in elevation. It's pretty much double the elevation. They're about 1,400 or 1,500 feet. And it does, on average, get colder there, and they get a little bit more snow than here because of that. But I don't think I hit 100 degrees last summer. Now, St. Louis, which is north, 2 hours north, will almost always hit 100 degrees before it hits 100 down here in the Ozarks. It's just elevation and forest away from the heat island of St. Louis, the big city there. But it'll definitely get up in the 90s, mid-90s, upper 90s. And occasionally, every now and then, it may hit 100 degrees. Again, elevation has a lot to do with that. Let's see, summer. Again, summer's, you'll get a cool front to come through every now and then, which is refreshing and nice. Whereas if you live further south, say down in Arkansas and Mississippi, Alabama, you're not hardly ever going to get those cool fronts that come through and get that far south. Maybe once every now and then, but not hardly ever. But again, I'm just far enough north where those cool fronts will just barely pass to my south. And so that'll bring in a little bit cooler air, which is, again, really nice and refreshing. As you can see, I'm just walking out here in my woods. It's a beautiful day right now, just waiting on some storms to come in. I think, what's today, March the 6th or March the 7th? I can't remember what date it is, but 6th or 7th. And so we got some storms coming in. Don't know exactly how bad it's going to get. They're just saying it's a very slight risk for this area. I think most of the, bad storms will be further out to the west, Oklahoma, western Missouri, out in there. But hopefully it doesn't get bad. And then fall. Fall is just a beautiful, I love fall. It's my favorite time of the year. The only thing I don't like about fall is I know winter's right around the corner. But that's when hunting season is. All the leaves are changing, and it's of course, being here in the Missouri Ozarks, it's beautiful when the leaves are changing and they're at their peak. Some crisp nights and crisp mornings, and warms up during the day. Fall is just awesome. Awesome. And it is definitely the driest time of the year. We had a really bad drought last year. But yeah, I love fall. Not too much to say about that, except it is beautiful around here. And of course, that brings us back to winter. And repeat the process all over. But even though we definitely have 4 different seasons for sure, but things can get very volatile very quick. And again, like I said, we're in that transition zone that sets up between, hot and cold. And there's no telling what it might do. I mean, it may be 70 degrees during the winter on a winter day. Strong Arctic front comes in. I mean, it will plummet. Temperatures will plummet quickly. It can drop by 30, 40, 50 degrees. And, rain one day and snow the next. So yeah, but I know when people get ready to move somewhere, their first question is, what's the weather like? What's the weather like? Do I enjoy living here in the Missouri Ozarks? Yes, indeed, I do. It is a beautiful area. A lot of recreation around here. And I bought this place, this property, in September of 2024. 52 acres, and you can check out my other videos on that of when I moved in and walking around the property and checking things out. But a lot of deer around, a lot of turkey around, and there's always something to do. And was it my first choice? No, it wasn't. But I was limited because of my job to either live in Missouri or Illinois. So I do work remotely, but it has to be in either Missouri or Illinois. That's another story for another time. But I do enjoy it. Got a lot to do, and overall the weather's not too bad if you can put up with the volatile changes that happen from time to time, and you can put up with the occasional deep cold that does trickle down here into Missouri Ozarks, and a good snowstorm or two. And then there are some winters, I mean, you hardly get anything. Maybe a couple inches, and it's just almost a snowless winter. It doesn't happen too often. Usually we'll get a decent snow or two. And then several little dustings to add up, to that about 10 inches on average. But anyway, it's a really nice place to live. And if you're thinking about moving to the Missouri Ozarks, I think it's starting to catch on with a lot of people. A lot of investors I've noticed where they've been buying up land, and just kind of a shame. And then southwest Missouri around Springfield and Branson, that it's really growing down there. And it's certainly a beautiful part of the country, beautiful part of the state also. All right, well, hopefully these things have been helpful. It's just a little bit about the crazy weather in the Missouri Ozarks, and it can get crazy at times. It can change on a dime. All right, well, thank you for checking out the video. Really appreciate you watching, and hey, if you like the content, consider subscribing and give this a thumbs up. I appreciate it very much. Y'all have a good one.